Welcome all to Movement Yoga. We do this most every week, myself and my wife Kathy. My name is Mark Cormier. If there's anything you'd like to focus on in terms of your practice or you'd like to hear about, just put it in the chat and we'll address it. And let's get going. How are you today, Kathy?
Good, thank you.
Come on aboard. The good ship Movement Yoga. All right. You always say the same thing, so I'm not going to ask. Shoulders and slouching?
Yeah.
Any new themes?
Strengthening the core.
Core, okay. Core's a little difficult on camera just because you're down on the belly.
Oh no, just strengthening it.
Okay, we'll try to figure out some core stuff. We can do standing up so our viewers have a nice full screen to look at. Excellent. All right, so let's bring hands on hips. Just marching it from side to side. You want to get a little karate kick? Go for it.
Oh, hips too.
Yeah, hips, okay.
My hips are getting bigger.
I think big hips are a good thing. Yeah, so when you kick, make sure you don't do it too vigorously. I remember doing this once a few years ago when I tweaked my knees. We don't want to tweak anything, we're just warming things up. And then we're going to start to reduce that movement as we start to move towards center. And then get into a place we're just rocking it from side to side. Starting to move towards center and then finding that center. Now we are going to start to engage our core as we rock it heel to toe, toe to heel, lifting heels, lifting toes. Depending on how high you go, you'll definitely get some core engagement as you keep tipping over. And then from that rock side to side, we'll start to stay grounded through toes and heel. We'll keep rocking it front to back. And then back to center. From here, making a choice, I suggest keeping your feet just as they are. If you did want to challenge your balance, you can narrow your stance, and you can do that a little bit later on as we start to move a bit more. Relax shoulders, hands to the heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum to line up each finger. A soft tuck of the chin. Starting our practice this morning, watching as our breath flows in. And as our breath flows out, arriving here on our yoga mats ready for a 9 a.m. West Coast yoga practice. A noontime yoga practice if you're on the East Coast, and if you're somewhere else, then whatever time it is. From a place of just watching our breath, and we'd like to shape our breath, finding a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As we breathe in, bringing the air to the top of our chests, the base of our bellies, filling up both back and front planes of our bodies. Filling up both sideways. It's like our body's a big barrel, filling that barrel up with a bunch of air. On the exhalation, let's introduce abdominal engagement. As we draw the low belly in and out, and currently lifting the kidneys in and out. You can feel that. Squeezing a little more air out, also with that core engagement, providing structural support for our low back as we move through these shapes and sequences. Almost like putting on a weight belt from the inside. Keeping this, moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath. A slight constriction of the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice. The sound of which often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. Last two details before we start to connect breath to movement. I'll invite you to take the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown, we can roll the hands over as we bring our hands by our side. From here, letting the hands and arms relax. Let's work with our breath just a bit more before we start our sun salves. Inhaling the arms out to the side. Letting those ribs expand, exhaling, hands back down. Two more times like this, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now the half sun cell. We're going to spin the palms out, moving towards our sun cell, inhaling the arms out to the side and then overhead. Spinning the palms out as we bring hands back by our side. Inhaling, gathering up the energy, arms overhead, palms face in. Exhaling, spinning the palms out, hands by our side. One more time like that. Inhaling as we gather the energy up. Exhaling as we offer it out. Now half sun cell, adding a forward fold and a back bend. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Oh, thanks for going sideways. You don't have to on this one. Exhaling, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees as we dip back, heart, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, tucking chin and tail, puffing back, heart. Hands can catch the back of the shins. Inhaling, finding a flat back. Eventually, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling over. Actually, sideways is good because you can really see that articulation of the spine. Breathing in, arcing. Exhaling, arching. Inhaling, finding that flat back, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more like this. Inhaling, up. Exhaling, over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Exhale. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. So just so you know, that front block is going to be the front of the frame. So maybe come towards the front of the frame, sun cell A here.
It's a little too at the edge, like basically on.
I'll let you determine where you want to be in frame then. But just realize that's your front of the frame.
I understand, but look, if
All good. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And now arching the spine, I'll ask you to find down dog straight off the bat. Q Vinyasa. In a future iteration of this pose, or this sequence. So as we hold down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog, bending one leg deeply and then the other. Feel free to go big on this. Maybe a little shift to the shoulders, keeping everything engaged. Again, we don't want to tweak anything. As enthusiastic as we might be. As we walk our dog, so can you go bigger on the walk dog? Really just show, really bending those knees. Awesome, Now from this place of movement, I'll invite you to move now towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep, full breath. And then on the tail end of her breath, I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly. Tailbone lifts a little higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Hands can cap the knees. Exhaling, folding a little deeper as we traction ourselves by catching the back of the calves. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second one, much like the first, this time I'll invite you to find Vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And now arching the spine, you want to keep the elbows soft as you cycle through a push-up. Inhaling into a back bend, and then exhaling back to down dog. Now take your time. The hips stay down, it's a cobra pose. If you lift those hips up, it's an up dog. And then back over the toes. Beautiful. Either to your down dog, or maybe choosing a child's pose or all fours. Always finding a good balance between your effort and your ease. As we hold this down dog, 3 to 5 breaths. Feel free to walk the dog or not, up to you. You can either find stillness and see what arises, or maybe stirring the pot up a little bit with some movement. Let your body tell you what it wants to do. There's really no difference between you and your body, so you do what you want. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you step, or maybe jump in front. Awesome, beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side as we gather up the energy. Exhaling as we offer it out. Let's do one more sun salé. We'll throw a plank into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you find your push-up, keeping the elbows soft. Once you've done your push-up, finding your back bend, take your time. And then once you've done your back bend, stretching it back to down dog, and we'll proceed from there. Nice work on the shoulders there, Kath. Awesome. Your shoulder blades distinctively move back and down onto the ribs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. At home, feeling free to stay wherever you are. For the purposes of this online demonstration, inhaling forward to plank pose and holding for 3 or 4 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels, shoulders super engaged, keeping our rotator cuffs happy. Round of the head stretching front, heels stretching back, connecting with that line of strength that runs through the center of yourself. In the plank pose, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Coming back to down dog and holding for another couple of breaths. And again, feel free to walk it or not. And if you chose to walk it, moving back towards stillness. Long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, navel to spine as you bend the knees ever so slightly, lifting the hips higher and either stepping or jumping in front. Take a breath to find length, arching the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as we fold. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second traditional warm-up exercise, sun salutation B, flow style. Inhaling into our chair, flat back, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Letting an inhale create length as you arc the back. Hands can cap the knees, really dipping back hard. On the exhale, puffing back hard as you traction yourself deeper. And then grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Always balancing your effort with your ease. Once we're at down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, finding a 3-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes as we stretch an Achilles tendon and calf, and wait for it, looking between the hands, pitching that leg even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior 1. And then offering the energy out as you spin the palms out, finding low lunge, lifting back heel when you're ready. And then from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, your choice. Second side when you're ready. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, pitching that leg even higher. And then sweeping it through, landing that front foot lightly as you spin the back heel down. Back leg long, back leg strong, inhaling up. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Shoulder blades back and down, beautiful, nice. And as we hold down dog, you could also choose a child's pose or all fours. Coming back to Samarviti, same breath, long, smooth breaths in, equally long, smooth breaths out. And as we hold down dog, breathing our Samarviti, putting your attention in the base of your throat, listening and feeling as that Ujjayi breath flows in and out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher and looking between the hands and either stepping or frog jumping in front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands overhead, chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, finding your flat back, hands by your side. Number 2, we'll add a dragon dog into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length, arcing the back, really dipping back heart. There it is. On the exhale, folding again as we puff out back heart and grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Welcome, Carolyn. Welcome, Joseph. Thank you for being here. So here comes that dragon dog, and you're perfectly in frame. It looks so good. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. On an exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists, and inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. Now the sternum will hold. Exhale forward. Inhale and hold the crouch. And then on that next exhale, navel to spine as you step that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, breathing in, and then breathing out. Back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Awesome. You can really watch your shoulders here. She pulls into her up dog, she anchors those shoulder blades back and down onto her ribs, and then rolls back over the toes, finding her down dog, and coming back to an even breath. We still have one more side to do, right?
Yes.
Yes, all right. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. On an exhale, knee to nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. The sternum will hold. Exhale it forward. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, getting that foot as far front as you can. Lots of core engagement. Spinning the back heel down. Gathering up the energy. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Hold down dog. I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Beautiful hands, Kathy. Lots of space between her fingers. You can tell she's working those hands super, super hard. Pressing down to the base of the fingers as she draws the center of the palm up towards the shoulders, helping support the weak link in the chain, which is the wrists. And working so hard, I can see a little shape there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands, and either stepping or jumping in front. Take a breath to arc. Exhaling, arching, really feeling that undulation of your back. On the inhale, stay low, finding flat back, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, finding your flat back, hands by your side. Let's do one more sun style B. We throw a twist into our dragon dog. Are you up for it? Mm-hmm. All right. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold and ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Working with your breath. The great thing is we always end up in down dog, so if you're moving a little slower or a little faster, it'll be a chance to recongrew with the sequence. In down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. On an exhale, right knee to right elbow, maybe give it a tap, maybe not. and inhale it up. Now finding the twist, right to left, maybe tap it, maybe not. And inhale it up, take your time here. Exhaling that knee forward and holding for the inhale. And then stepping that foot front, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Awesome. Looks like you're really moving with intent. Awesome. You ready for that second side? All right. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Bringing left knee to left elbow, maybe give it a tap, maybe not. And inhale it up. Now finding the twist, left to right, maybe tap it, maybe not. And inhale it up. Now bringing that knee center and holding for the inhale. And then getting that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you go. All right. So again, there's other places to work. We've been working hard. It's a pretty vigorous sequence. If you need to take a rest, go for it. If you need some water, go for it. Do you have tea around, Kathy?
I didn't bring any. I drank a big old glass before.
Do you want me to grab you some water? You okay?
I'm okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. At a certain point, I'll sneak out and get you some water.
Aw, you're sweet.
From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your neck. Take a breath to find length as you arc that. Really arc that back. Yeah, really feel that. Here it is. On the exhale, arching the spine as you catch the back of the shins. Let that, yeah, really tuck the chin. You feel a nice stretch in the low back, surprisingly. On the inhale, back to your down dog, knees over toes, hands over head, finding flat back. Not down dog, Utkatasana. Exhaling, taking it lower. And then on the inhale, rising on up, feel that back bend, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera. Kathy, hands find the heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Coming back to a place of watching as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. Soft tuck of the chin. Water. Good to stay hydrated.
Thank you very much.
Of course. And as soon as you've taken a sip, let's work with our fire breath. So the fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. Great place to get those lungs moving. Our lungs have lots of muscles also. Keep those muscles strong. So feet hip width apart, hands find the hips. We can soften the knees a little bit here. On the inhale, we're going to bring the arms up in front and then overhead. On the exhale, bending the knees, casting the hands back. Again, short, sharp exhalation. Let's hear that exhalation. Let those arms be a little more loosey-goosey, yeah, without tweaking anything. A couple more here. The last one. And then back up. And I'll allow you either to step or jump it. Awesome. And I'll ask you to go sideways, sun, south, C, an extended standing pose sequence. Inhaling into a chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. Really feel that dip in back heart. There it is. On the exhale, puffing back heart as you fold again. And grounding on down. And making your way back to down dog as you will. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're going to add a hip opener here. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Lots of shoulder integrity the whole time. As we circle the thigh bone in the hip socket for 1, 2, 3. Other way, 3, 2, and 1. And then looking between the hands, wait for it. You're going to pitch that knee even higher, feel that glute. And then sweeping that foot on through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead, warrior 1. I'll allow you to bring hands back to the hips. If you've landed a long stance, you'll stay right there. Kathy generally goes long right off the bat. I tend to go short. If you go short like me, shifting weight onto the front foot, you can scoot that back foot back for a little bit of a longer stance. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, back hip front, front hip back. They're not going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action. Now hands find the shoulders, steering heart front. Asymmetrical shoulder rolls as we roll one shoulder front and then the other. Warming up our upper back, great place to do this. One leg forward, one leg back. We've stabilized the low back. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, letting those shoulders relax onto rib shelf. Finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. Elbows wide to the side. Keeping that, let's find a train in front. Breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. On the exhale, circling the hands around as that knee moves back towards the toes. 6 times. Inhale and exhale. Halfway done. Last 2. Last 1. Now I'll invite you to hold this shape. The elbows move back, the hands come with. That's right, rippling those fingers. We keep our hands solid. Awesome. From here, let's move towards a balance sequence. Hands find the hips. We can spin the back heel up. Either a couple of steps, a big step or a slide. So you always want to move towards the front foot, just so you know, Kath. I know for the purposes of frame, you move that front foot, but maybe try to figure out a compromise. Yeah, so always like step it in, right? You want to keep that foundation. And you look pretty good. People can still see. I know you're towards the front of the frame, but people can still, but maybe back. So here's your front right here.
Nope.
Oh, there's your front right there. Yeah. So, all right, so always moving towards the front foot, just so I just want to get that at home, okay? So we're going to start to balance onto that right foot. We're going to find our flamingo. Yeah, try not to move that front foot as we lift the foot high with a soft point to the toe. Nice, beautiful. I'll ask you to bring left hand onto the front of the shin. We're going to steer that leg out to the side. Try to keep the integrity, so you want to keep the shape. You're not tweaking the knee at any point. So if you need to work lower, you're going to work lower. And rather than that, it's going to be just a parallel movement, so the thigh stays parallel to the floor. Yeah, maybe work a little higher on the knee. I'm going to make a physical adjustment. I don't need to do this. So we're here, here. Catch the front of the shin there. You take it out to the side. You don't want to lift the hip. Yeah, there you go. You use me as a amount, so any amount here. And now you're going to stretch the right arm long, but long out to the side. There you go. Keep it parallel to the shoulders. That's safest for your shoulder. And then maybe you're going to look towards that hand. Awesome. Moving one part of the body at a time. You're going to bring your gaze back center. You're going to bring the hand back to the hip. Left hand's going to find the hip. You're going to keep that thigh high as you lengthen through the leg without dropping the thigh. You're going to lean a little bit forward here. I'll suggest a soft point to the toe. That's going to make it easier to breathe. Lifting that leg up a little higher. Now you're going to flex the foot. As you sweep it on through it, you have to tap down, go for it. And then you're going to land your warrior one. So you can adjust yourself for the frame here. But again, always try to stay stable on the front foot, lots of strength there, and then you move the back foot from that strength. From here, we're going to steer warrior 1 hips to warrior 2 hips as we open the hips to face the side. We might kick that back foot in. Again, we're working from the back foot as we stay grounded through front foot. As you kick the back foot in, And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady, yet relaxed gaze. Lots of strength in those fingers, yeah. Beautiful. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Keep it loosey-goosey here. Exhaling where you really feel the flow. Breathing in. All parts of the body are moving here. Breathing in. And breathing out. 3 more times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now this last one we're going to hold. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. Mimicking those ribs with our fingers. Yeah, you can keep the, it's like a Statue of Liberty. You're holding that flame. Your fingers are the flickers of the flame. Beautiful. Finding more space in the hand. From the reverse warrior back to warrior 2. Now finding your rainbow warrior, I'm going to give you a towel. You could also find a clasp of the fingers behind the back. So once you clasp it so people see. So that would be the option. Towel really feels good though, whether you get lots of clearance with the clasp or not. So I'm going to give you each end of the towel. Go as wide as you need to. Shoulder blades back and down initially, that's it. Keeping that initially, we're going to take a deep forward fold inside the front leg. Either using the torso to rest the thigh upon or letting the torso hang free. And then neck relaxed, head heavy, and letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. As we hold the shape, lots of awareness in the feet. That's going to keep your balance. And then I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in your body to drain down so we cramp the head into the earth. In our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as you bring it on up. I'll grab the towel here. Coming back to our warrior 2. And from warrior 2, we're going to transition to the triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. You want to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Different options on that bottom hand. We can bring the thumb in line with shin bone as we wrap the calf. That opens up that bottom shoulder. Or you might take a brick or 2 outside the calf. If you choose to use bricks, you want to feel a physical connection between the bricks and the calf. Once we have our foundation, this top hand can rotate our ribs. Coming to our shoulder, we can open up that shoulder. And then stretching that hand high to the sky. Choosing either to look down, off to the side, or up to the sky. Arm and shoulder travel together. The more the arm moves back, the more that shoulder opens up. And really feel that grounding down of the shoulder blade onto the spine. Yeah, beautiful. From here, moving towards our half moon, the triangle in 1 foot, top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee, either a couple of steps, a big step, or a slide as you bring that back foot in. Again, we're working, front foot stays where it is. Okay, so what I'm going to, so rather than you adjusting, Kathy, I'm going to adjust the camera, and I think that's a good thing to do. So yeah, so I want to.
I moved my foot first.
Okay.
The way you asked.
Okay, so I want you. So now we're going to pour weight into hand and foot as we lift the back leg up. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, stretching hand high to the sky. Awesome. Just for fun today, I'll invite you to pulse this back leg up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, holding back leg high. And then softening the front knee, you're going to take a big step back. Try to find your warrior 2 stance. Now shifting weight into the feet, don't be in a rush. As you come back to your warrior 2, and from warrior 2, a big windmill of the arms as you come back to your low lunge. In different ways to windmill, let it be your windmill. And then back to down dog, as you will. Yeah, take your time. Awesome. How's your energy level? A little water? Yeah, take a break at home. If you don't want to take a break at home, you could always hold that plank pose. Awesome, yeah.
Water's the best drink in the world.
It is. You don't need to add anything. Although I said that to a water engineer, he's like, "Are you crazy? You don't know what we put in the water." We take it back out, though, he claims, to keep it safe. All right, you ready for that second side?
I am.
Excellent. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Again, I'll worry about the frame.
Oh no.
I'll move the camera if I have to. So you keep that left shoulder just as it is. Twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up the hip. Now I'll invite you to circle the thigh bone any amount. 1, 2, 3. Take it the other way. 3, 2, 1. Now looking between the hands, you're going to pitch that even higher. Feel your glute. And then sweeping that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side. And then overhead. Beautiful. You're right in the center there. From here, we'll bring hands back to the hips. So again, this is practice. So if you did want to practice shifting weight onto the front foot and just pretend to slip the back foot back a little bit. Maybe it's just a micro push. With our hands on our hips, we're going to steer our hips front, hip, back, hip, front. Hands come out of the shoulders, steering heart front. And we're going to rotate those shoulders. 1, and 2, and 3. Other way for 3, and 2, and 1. Now we're going to bring those shoulders center, letting them relax onto rib shelf. Just feel that settle. From here, fingers find the back of the head. You might walk the fingers one over, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that sense of width across heart and throat chakras. Find a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance, 3 fingers below the knee. Exhaling, offering it out 6 times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. In. Breathing out. Last one coming up here. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding those cactus arms. The elbows move back. The hands come with. Rippling those fingers. From here, okay, so I'm going to move, if you're out of frame, I'm going to move the camera here. So I want you to work from that front foot. Hands come back to the hips. You're going to spin the back heel up, either a couple of steps, a big step, or a slide in. We're moving towards our flamingo here. So you step that foot front. So now I'm going to move the camera. You don't move at all. There you go. Finding your flamingo. Now you're going to bring hand to the front shin. Yeah. Okay, awesome. You want to keep the hip just as it is. You're going to bring that knee out to the side, any amount. So you don't want to lift the hip, yeah, any amount. It's a little bit different stretch. You're going to stretch that other arm long. You want to keep it parallel, that's safest for your shoulder. And then you're going to turn your face to look towards that hand. I know we're near the windows, it's a little scary. So if you don't want to do that, don't do it, of course. From here, we're going to bring hand back to hip. We're going to bring our gaze back center. Oh, sorry, we did opposite order the other time. We're going to swing this leg back front. 2 hands find 2 hips. We want to lean a little bit forward. We're going to draw the energy in here. We don't want our low back to do the work as we lengthen the leg without dropping the thigh. And I'll invite you to softly point the toe, and that's going to help with your breath, surprisingly enough. When we flex our foot, we tend to restrict the movement of the diaphragm. Yeah, if you want to add a little movement of that foot, go for it. From here, flexing the foot, exhaling as we sweep that foot back through. We're coming back to warrior 1. And try to land as long a stance as you can. So now I'm going to adjust the camera again. You stay right there. Turning warrior 1 into warrior 2. We'll use those hands to steer the hip. Try not to move that front foot at all. Finding one long arm. Looking out past those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. And if you did want to move your feet, you're going to move the back foot in to narrow your stance. Feel free to keep it wide. From here, painting rainbow. Straightening front leg without locking the knee. Inhale. Exhaling, warrior 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Keep it flowing. Breathing out. Everything loose. Breathing in. And holding. For the next one, we'll hold. Breathing in and holding. So coming back to that reverse warrior. Reaching up higher. Reaching down furher. Finding more space between each rib. Spreading those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. And breathing into all that space. If you want to have a triumphant look, you could. Smile on your face. Channeling your inner statue of liberty. Those fingers are the flames. Emma Goldman. Was it Emma Goldman's poem?
Emma Lazarus.
Emma Lazarus. Was her last name Goldman?
No, that's from the 1920s. The woman who Reds, remember that movie?
Okay, right. All right.
John Reed.
Back to our warrior 2. Awesome. Now finding our rainbow warrior, you can use a clasp of the fingers if you do have a towel and it's not too far away. Or you have someone to bring you a towel. You bring your hands behind your back. Again, either clasping the fingers or catching that towel. There you go. You do the towel. Feel free to use as much towel as you need. Open heart, open throat, shoulder blades back and down initially. Leading with that heart, really feeling your feet, keeping your balance. Take your time. We don't want anyone to fall over here. I know that's something you should never say. Never tell people what they shouldn't do, because sometimes they do it. Once we get into the forward fold, relax neck, heavy head, and then letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. Putting your mind in your feet, keeping that balance. Introducing a gentle swing, a gentle sway, just inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head. Where is it? That tension's gone, at least for now. Plenty of room in here. Now a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall to the crown. We can just drop that towel. Yes, there it is, like a bullfighter. Coming back to our warrior 2. You want to find your drishti. There it is. Moving towards our triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. You're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Choosing to put bottom hand either thumb in line with shin bone or making yourself a structure with bricks. If you use the bricks, feeling that physical connection. Once we have that foundation, we can rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky for our triangle. Awesome. And Kathy's doing a wonderful job here, but the arm and the shoulder move together. The more the arm moves back, the more that shoulder opens up. As we ground that scapula, that shoulder blade backing down under our spine. Awesome. And then she can either look down, very grounding, off to the side, a little less so, or maybe up to the sky. And again, finding a place where you feel balanced, strong, stable. And you might play it at the edge a little bit there, but you don't want to play so far on the edge that you're going to fall, that you're going to feel like you might lose that balance. From here, moving towards our half moon. Top hand finds the hip. Either one big step or a couple of steps in. I'm going to adjust the camera. Kathy's going to work 100% from that back foot as she brings the back foot in. Moving towards our half moon, setting her base. Left hand off to the left, find a solid base. Shifting weight into hand and foot as the back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, now stretching high to the sky for our half moon. Balancing on one foot, gaze down to the ground, great choice, very grounding. Off to the side, or if you're really feeling that connection to your center, maybe lifting the face to look up to the sky. Maybe think about what it would take to lift your face to look up to the sky. You might even just shift your eyes into eye sockets. Isn't that beautiful? Kathy's doing a wonderful job here. Different ideas about what to do with that back foot. Classically, it's flexed. But I find if I flex my foot, it kind of restricts the movement of the diaphragm a little bit. So I prefer a soft point to the toe, not an extreme point, just a soft point. From here, coming down with grace and control, we are going to try to land. Oh, that's the pulsing. Excellent. You must have enjoyed that pulsing.
I did.
We're going to pulse that back leg for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to keep that leg high, softening the front knee. Big step back as we land a long stance. Awesome, beautiful. And then from here, a big windmill of the arms as you stretch out your shoulders, finding low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Awesome, beautiful. And I'm going to adjust the camera one last time here. You just stay just as you are. Beautiful. And, all right, hello, Jim. From down dog, I'll invite you to land your knees lightly. As you find a child's pose, arms in extension, sits bones back towards the heels. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to keep the palms down and the elbows lifted as long as you can, feeling that shoulder stretch. Forehead heavies down towards the floor. Now letting the arms relax, and you can spin those palms up. Stretch out those shoulders, finding space before we start to let gravity take over. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to gently rock this child's pose side to side, getting into those hips, releasing and relaxing your low back. Now I'm going to ask you to bring everything back center, spinning those palms down, and finding a side bend, keeping hips and heels just as they are, as you walk your hands to one side. You have to push a brick out of the way, go for it. Stretching far hip to far heel, breathing into that stretch. One of my favorite stretches is you stretch out low sideways. Now walking your hands through center, take your time, no need to rush, and you're going to find that side bend the other way. Stretching other hip to other hip. Can you find a little more extension on that far side? Yeah, go for it. I'll move the bells. Beautiful. Yeah, you really want to feel it right there. Now bringing hands back center. We're going to walk our hands in. We're going to bring our feet off to one side as we come onto our back. I'll ask you to find the top of the mat, and I can move the camera. Don't worry about where you are in the frame. And you want to make sure that your head, I want to make sure you can do full body. I would suggest come a little farther up, otherwise you're going to hit the wall or the chessboard on your full body stretch. No?
I'm very short.
Okay, there you go. Big full body stretch. We're going to cue a long, slow roll down. So long, slow roll down, finding your C-spine. Slow, slow, slow. Take your time. There's no need to get to the next place. I want to enjoy the ride, as they say in the Chevy commercial, Volkswagen commercial. So now full body stretch. Low back lifts on that full body stretch. Now you're going to press your back into the mat as you bring hands by hips and walk your feet in. From here, 2 legs high to the sky. And we won't hold this for too long. So legs up a wall. Without a wall, I'll ask you to point the toes. I'll ask you to squeeze the thighs together. I'll ask you to get those legs just a little bit longer. I'll ask you to keep pressing your back into the mat. Keeping your back pressed into the mat, keeping those legs long, keeping the toes pointed as you slowly lower those legs. Slow, slow, slow. Feeling that low belly engagement. The lower you go, the slower you go. You might want to press your hands into the mat to support the action of the legs here. Yeah, really feel all the muscles engage. Awesome. Slow, slow, slow. There's the work. There's the work. Woo! Now you're going to find your Shavasana. Arms out to the side, palms face out. Widening the thighs, scooting your head back as you flatten your shoulders. Tip of the tongue now neutral in your mouth. A slight part to your lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And we won't be here too long. At home, of course, feeling free to stay where you are. For the purposes of this video demonstration, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. Moving our minds before we move our bodies. Bringing our attention back to our breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching a river as that river flows by. Now shaping our breath, finding a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Finding a more relaxing, a more languorous breath with those long, slow breaths in, followed by a longer, slower breath out. Now rippling fingers and toes, inviting more life force into our bodies. Inviting that life force in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmer of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs. As you draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Hands catch the knees or the shins. Using your thighs to gently massage your low belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles. Now reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, keeping the neck relaxed or hands. Keeping the chin tucked, hands come back to knees or shin. Now starting to rock it front to back to front, massaging your spine. If you need to catch the back of the thighs, go for it. And then popping on up, maybe one more time, to find a cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face the camera. And I can always move the camera, don't worry too much about it. As we sit, grounded down through two sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. I'll ask you to push into your sits bones to lift the kidneys in and up. A soft tuck of the chin as you bring one hand onto your heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Nice to see you all.
And as always, namaste sounds like have a nice day.
Love you.
And we'll see you all real soon. Thank you so much for practicing with us.
Thank you.